One. Okay, I think we're live. Welcome to episode 40 of the Card Diary by Hobbyist Thompson. I am your host, Denny Cards, a jack of all trades, master of none in the hobby. And as I like to paraphrase Jay Z, you could be listening to any podcast in the world, but you're here with me, and thank you so much for doing so. However, you're not just here with me today. I have a very special guest for this continuing mini series of Meet the Grader. Today, I have another individual from a grading company, this time not a grader, not an owner, but the head of operations, also known as the operations manager. His name is Aaron Arroyo, and he's also the first ever employee of AGS, which stands for Automated Grading Systems, which is a trading card grading company that utilizes artificial intelligence. So, Aaron, welcome to the pod.
Thank you very much for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah, I really enjoyed our recording kind of chat, and it's amazing. I had Eddie from C3 Grading on, and he we were talking about being kind of like, you know, um, kids growing up in New York City, and you mentioned that you currently are in Staten Island, right?
Oh yeah, it was when I was watching some of your stuff, and when we first talked, I didn't realize you were from New York. So you told me you were from Queens. I was like, oh, awesome. Okay, I'm from Staten Island. But like to me, it's important to like emphasize like the part of Staten Island I'm from is like the Wu Tang District. There's like the Wu Tang side of Staten Island, and then there's the side of Staten Island that other people know about. So this is where I reside. It's
Oh my,
yeah, we're very North Shore over here.
that is hilarious, the North Shore. So I remember taking that ferry when I was a kid, and I actually remember going to a local card shop when I was a kid because I had some friends who lived in Staten Island, and I don't remember the name, I don't remember the street and the intersections, so I
Hmm.
apologize. I don't know if it's still there, but I do remember going to a local card shop in that area, and that's where my friends from Staten Island they would go after school and hang out. So,
Oh yeah.
how would you say the card scene is over in Staten Island currently?
We have like four local shops. We have a good Yu-Gi-Oh scene, a very strong One Piece scene, a very strong Digimon scene, like competitively. And one of our local stores has been picking up Lorcana, a lot. Sunday tournaments Lorcana. I'm trying to get there myself. I'm more of like a card player than like collector. So I like
Mm.
to play a lot of these card games. So we have a really good like tournament scene. We have about three or four shops locally, and we have like one that emphasizes on sports cards like Empire Heat. Great local shop. They recently just moved to the mall on the island, so they get a lot more foot traffic now. But I can't. I imagine their rent's got to be skyrocketing there. But it's nice. We have another one that's planning on opening later. In about 2 weeks, that should be opening up near our store. And when we talk about like local card shop, the room we're actually in is attached to the AGS office. So I'm just gonna like move my camera around a little bit. We're
Mhm.
actually trying in the midst of building our own little local card store. We're gonna call it AGS Cards. Our building's located in a baseball field, so we get a lot of like foot traffic. Like 6 months out of the year, and we thought it'd be a good idea to attach a card shop to our building. That way, customers can come in. We have a bunch of slabs and the display cases. Product they can buy product, and we'll throw grading services for free with the purchases of that. That way, they can also get a tour of the facility and take a look at the scanning machine. They can save on shipping costs, but a way for us to interact more with this community here, because it's we just want to we it's a baseball field, and a lot of the people come are sports collectors. The younger people definitely do more TCGs, but it would be a better way for us to interact more. So it's still being built, but you're this is the first time we're showing it to any sort of public, so you get some sort of exclusive.
Worldwide debut premiere.
Yeah.
So for the people who are listening only in audio as a podcast, as opposed to I don't really publicize my or promote my YouTube channel too much. I probably should, but for folks who are listening only in via audio, when you pan the camera to where you are, could you kind of like paint me a word picture about what you were kind of showing? Like right now, I
Yeah.
can tell there's a deep purple color background wall.
Yeah.
I
So
see some. Go ahead.
Sorry about that. So, purple is definitely like our main color that
Hmm.
matches with the business. So, purple accent wall with a RoboGrading decal. We have shelves with Funko products on top of them. We have multiple display cases with sealed product and slabs, and then we have an entire wall just dedicated to sealed product. All different types of TCGs. Um, Something I think AGS does really well. Is we do a lot of TCGs. We do sports cards as well, but we
Hmm.
also get a lot of feedback from people who want like Kickstarter TCGs. So I have like Akora back here, Grand Archive, Rise, Titan. Like there's a bunch of unique stuff that you might not be able to find somewhere else here as well. So we're trying to create this. It's a small. It'll be a small store, but we want to create a place for people to come. And check us out, and that way you also get some free bonuses with your purchases of your product and make that value go further.
I only recently found out about the difference between an LCS, local card shop, and an LGS, like a local gaming shop. Because
Mhm.
I have some in my area. Okay, so my understanding is LCS really is more for sports cards. That can also have like trading card and
Mhm.
TCGs, Pokemon stuff, but an LGS is really for like these tournament trading card players. Would you say that's kind of accurate?
Yeah, 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 and board games,
And board games.
board
Yeah.
games and statues, and just like because the hobby's wide, it's really
Right.
wide, and so I think when you get to the LGS, like you definitely include board games here. One of my favorite spots on the island is you spend like $10 and you're able to hang out in the store for a couple of hours, play all the board games they have on the walls, sit there and play cards. I love it. I love that environment. I love that business model. It's really good for community building. Um,
Hmm.
Whereas, like if it's less transactional, which I appreciate when you have the local gaming store.
I love that you guys are trying to get more integrated into the local community. I think that's what I've been trying to do recently as well, without trying to open up my own shop, because that just seems like just such a impossible task, or it's like a pie in the sky dream type of thing. But when it comes to like locally, I've like tried to set up a trade night, and I'm trying to do some more things where I'm, integrating into the local community, coaching soccer, which I don't even know much about, but they needed someone coaching my kids' basketball teams, which I'm much more comfortable with. But just trying to
Nice.
give back, try to get more kids into the hobby because, I think, that we have to, like, this is the next generation, right? I mean, I would have loved if I had someone who was, not just giving me free packs or free cards, but just like information, just sharing
Hmm.
information, because we know that when you're young, you just kind of you can absorb things like a sponge, and like you can learn from, the older generations.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you. I think the world's a big, big place. There's too much going on all the time. And if you spend a little bit of time and focus in on what's around you, your family, your community, and you do more things in relation to that and to water that grass, the brighter personally my life has become. And being in Staten Island, and I specifically mentioned that I was like, the Wu Tang part of Staten Island. There was like a big like art scene there, so we had a lot of
Mm.
music. A lot of my background in college was like photography and videography, so it was a lot of like communal art shows. My first job was at the parks department, doing like community building, community events. So I just feel like when you slow down from how crazy the world is, how big everything is, and really focus in on like what's around you, what your community is doing, you can improve those areas, and it will enrich your life so much more than trying to change the big picture. So if you're doing trade night and you guys make some friends there, and you have more people who feel comfortable going out to something weekly, have you ever heard of the term third places?
Third places, yeah, kind of like shout out to Starbucks, but that's the first
It's
thing
the
that
third
immediately came
place.
to mind. Yeah, if you want to explain that more, please go ahead.
So like a third place is like you have your home, that's place number one. You have your work, it's place number two, and third place is somewhere else that you can go and just exist, and do things and have community. So for some people that could be a bar, for some people that could be a
Hmm.
local coffee lounge or a board game shop that you can hang out. And I think we need more third places and more reasons to go to third places, because I just think people like, yeah, it's really cool. Like it's great that I'm talking to you from long distance and we're able
Hmm.
to have this conversation. I really genuinely appreciate them having a great time. But it's like people need physical spaces where they can interact with other people. It's just it's very human. And that's why like That's why I say, like, I'm not really a collector. I play games. I
Mhm.
want to holify my decks. Like, I wanna have the shiniest cardboard. I wanna get the alt arts because I want them in my deck because I just want to meet these people and play and drop these cards and trade. The physical nature of it,
Mhm.
the physical nature of this type of hobby, uh, makes it perfect for third places. So I would encourage you to continue doing what you're doing. You don't have to open up a shop, but if you have a good relationship with your local store, that's amazing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I do plan on continuing that for sure. And I love the way you kind of said it, water that grass, strengthen and deepen the roots of the lawn of the hobby. And, this idea of third place, I know, COVID, we all got through it and it was difficult, but I think third places definitely took a big hit from a
Hmm.
physical brick and mortar standpoint. The hobby certainly grew during COVID, but more virtually. But getting back to these third places, again, like you pay $10 and play all you can play, like you go to a buffet, all you can eat, but you're
Hmm.
just playing board games and just getting tactile, like just connecting with people in person. Because I think something I recently struggled with is interacting with people online where I just feel like people talk online as if like you're just not a real person, and I can't believe the way some people talk. Like you would never talk to someone like that in person if you're
Oh
playing
yeah,
on a board game. I mean, if you did, you probably get kicked out of the store, right? I mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but that's the thing. Like you don't talk like that because that's just not socially acceptable. So when I see people coming at me or saying things, I'm just like, why would you? You would never say that. You would never, So that's a classic keyboard warrior type of people. But I think when you are able to humanize and normalize, like, well, not normalize, but this whole concept of the meet the grader that I've been doing, that you said you've seen clips of, is trying to humanize the grading experience. Because so many times we just get so like, oh, these graders, they bad day, you're gonna get bad grades, and you can never, they're so inconsistent, these humans, they're terrible. And it's like, we're all just trying our best here, right?
No, literally, people are just working. They're doing what they can. And I mean, like, yeah, when you talk about like comments on the internet, it's been a very strange. I'm like a pretty private person. Like this is the first time doing something like this.
Oh,
It's really strange for me. So like our social media is growing pretty rapidly. We have like 25,000 followers now
mm,
on Instagram, and it's crazy because we are a newer grading company. We've been open for a little more than 2 years. It feels like sometimes you're under a microscope, and like every like no one's like. I always my background like in cinema, right back in my college days. You never notice when an editor does a good job. You notice when they do a bad job,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
If something feels off. So it's strange feeling like you're more under a microscope as like a business because uh, sometimes it feels like there are people who are waiting to watch you fall rather than
Hmm.
try to build you up. And like I don't know. I've met with other grading companies, uh, the managers, the head graders there, things like that, and I want majority of them to succeed. So it feels weird, like seeing like online comments of people just like wanting your downfall almost.
Hmm. Hmm.
So this is a very interesting experience to me. I'm trying to put myself out there. We'll see what it's like. Um, but yeah, I think it is because there's that separation. Whenever we meet people in person, we go to like shows, we travel to shows.
Yeah, yeah.
The reception's amazing. The kind of
Mm,
conversations we have are awesome. Even when people disagree with us, like or
yeah.
challenge us on our standards, it is done like respectfully,
Oh, that's
in a way
great.
that the internet doesn't allow for. You know.
We could do better though. We could just be more civil and more kind to each other. But again, we're not going to fix the internet overnight. But I
No,
do
definitely
appreciate you
not.
saying that, and that makes so much more sense. Like, I want to talk about which shows you've gone to, and which ones you plan to go to with AGS.
Yeah,
But just again, people talk differently in person than they do online, and I'm glad that in the bright side of that is people are approaching you respectfully and civilly. You can disagree with people, but you can do it in a very civil and respectful manner. So,
yeah,
could you kind of, we're going to get to the grading, we're going to get to the automated grading part of
yeah,
AGS,
yeah. I'm here for it
and
all.
yeah. So, but can I ask you from a show standpoint, I know we've been a little bit delayed, and I appreciate this happening today, but we were trying to get on the books earlier, but then you had two shows recently that you've been to. So
Mhm.
could you kind of tell us where AGS has been and then where you all plan to go from a show geographical standpoint, but also like
Yeah,
maybe mission?
So we actually launched, like officially opened at Collecticon like 2 years ago,
Okay.
which gave us a giant MetaZoo audience. I'm very thankful for them. We get tons of MetaZoo cards in, lots of collector there. I think it's just naturally Collecticon is associated with MetaZoo, and that's really they like marry together. So we get lots of MetaZoo cards. So we started by going to every Collecticon that year, and we also went to the Mint Collective in Vegas because we're
Mm,
trying to show off to sports collectors the value and the kind of service we're offering to them. So the
mm,
Mint Collective was a show that was like seemed like strictly for these kinds of people. We also did the Burbank Card Show recently.
mm,
Again, just trying to put our feet into the sports world more.
mm,
It's like we do it. We do sports cards. Like I have,
mm,
we have a whole separate AI model for sports cards.
mm,
But just like the community reception has not been as warm when it comes to sports cards as it is to the TCG. So
mm,
we're our goal, the reason we did that, it was New York to California. Like I flew a bunch of people out to California, machinery, hotels. We were out there for like 2 weeks
mhm,
in order to meet these people. And just when you once we're able to meet these people and explain like like there's a lot of like customer education
mm,
especially in the sports collector world for us.
mm.
Once we're able to meet these people, we we closed like 60% of the people who walked by ended up
Oh,
submitting with us. It
mm,
was amazing. It was amazing. But these are just people we have to find because we have been more in the TCG world. So we're trying to do more sports heavy shows. And as far as like what's next for us, this Sunday we're doing a show in Long Island. We're trying to do things that are more drivable. Like
mm,
you know that we can do a little easier, maybe spend the night in an Airbnb or something. Just because these big shows are very very expensive.
yes.
So we're trying to do some New Jersey local shows, Long Island, and there's even one that's happening on Staten Island soon. They're
Oh,
converting
nice.
a restaurant into like a venue. So
Oh,
I think for the rest of the year, we're going to be trying to stick to tri-state and like Long Island, maybe Pennsylvania, maybe Maryland,
mhm.
but stick to areas that are within like 4 or 5 hours driving.
I
That
mean,
way, yeah,
well, the more you keep talking about states, little by little, you're creeping closer towards Virginia. You just said Maryland, and that's, I'm in Northern Virginia, a suburb of Washington, D.C. So that's, that's within 5 hours. I mean, maybe not with traffic. Without traffic, it's 5 hours,
yeah.
but
Well, we'd leave early in the morning. You know,
yeah, yeah,
we just want to make sure because it's. I mean, we just want to make sure it's a lot to ask people to
yeah.
leave their families, stay
Oh,
somewhere
totally. Yeah,
overnight, stay somewhere for a week. So, see, like, I'm totally open to the idea. If you know of
yeah,
anything you want us to check out, if anybody has anything they want to put in the comments or send an email shows you'd like us to see,
yeah.
check us out. Hit us up on Instagram. Be glad. Like, we're definitely open to it.
Yes, DM AGS. What's the handle? I know you have your own personal handle, and Alex, the owner, has. I think it's like one pizza, right?
One Pizza is the
Yeah,
owner. That's Alex.
yeah.
Mine's A Arroyo underscore 22.
On
I do
Instagram.
answer, yeah, I do
Mhm.
answer DMs, but only during business hours,
Gotcha.
which
Yeah.
is like 9 to 5. Like once I clock out, I also have a family and I like to spend time with
Set
them.
those boundaries, Aaron. Don't let
Yeah,
the internet encroach upon them. I have
yeah,
that same problem and issue. But
yeah.
also, I'm not doing it for business. I'm doing it for fun. But
Yeah,
it can
so
get
I will
old.
see anyone who DMs me between
All
9
right.
and 5.
So, what about the grading company? It's what is it like? AGS grading.
Yeah, yeah, automated grading systems. Will,
I mean the Instagram handle
oh,
name.
yeah, it's just at AGS grading.
Okay, AGS grading. Okay, so I know the Philly show just recently happened. That's in Pennsylvania. You just mentioned that as a state. But you guys weren't at
No,
the
we were
Philly
kind of
show.
recouping. We spent two
Recouping.
weeks in
Yeah.
California. That was the longest I was ever away from my family. So we're lucky. Like I'm doing this Long Island show. Um, right now, we don't have a separate team that does shows and a separate team that's back in the office. When we're traveling, we're all traveling. We got to take the equipment to work while we're traveling to keep orders going out this whole
Gotcha.
time. So
Well,
I would say more shows it could be more shows locally November and December, but I
mhm,
wouldn't be looking to travel like across the country again until next
yeah.
year.
Gotcha. Well, Chantilly shows in a month from the time of this recording. It's in mid-August, October, but I will not be clamoring for you guys to come. I do look forward to meeting you in person one day soon, but
Yeah, yeah.
seems like guys done a lot of good traveling to spread the word about this, artificial intelligence, trading card grading company. So,
Hmm.
um, so before we get into kind of like what AGS does, I did want to ask you just the job title. I mean, you're the first operations manager that I've had on this podcast. Can you, you mentioned about flying people out, and I'm sure you're kind of like being, delegating tasks and telling
Yeah, yeah.
people what you should do. But I mean, could you kind of explain more about your role in within AGS?
Yeah, so my job is to hire people. You know, I assign the daily tasks to people. There's like 9 steps to our operation in
Mm,
order to get cards out. So assigning staff where they need to be.
mm,
Majority of our staff is trained in all of those avenues. So if they need to cover for somebody, or if I need to double up on one area, I can assign more people to that task. It's my job. Sorry, it's my job to make sure we can get our orders out on time.
mhm,
If customers service complaints sort of get elevated, then I would be the person to handle it. We do
mhm,
have a team that does that, but if they need me, then I step in. I also plan the shows. I handle all sorts of like raises, hiring, firing, budgetary
mm,
reason, budgets, ordering of supplies.
yeah,
Just basically, the money isn't mine. I'm an employee, but I try to make all the moves happen.
yeah.
So anything you can think of on the day to day and large scale does get run by me.
Gotcha. So if any of this is secret sauce, please don't feel at all like pressure to answer. But you just mentioned 9 steps within the operation. So are you able to kind of talk about some of those, or list the nine,
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah, absolutely. So the first step is submissions. Right now we have about 3 million cards in our database. So
Mm,
if those cards are in our database without an issue, they get submitted really fast. But
mm,
people also submit cards that aren't currently in our database, and we're always
mm,
constantly expanding that. Again, we hit 3 million just this week, 3 million cards.
that's-
But there's so many cards still to do. So if a
uh,
card isn't in our database, they have to go to manual submissions, we have to manually add the cards to our database individually. What I do have is like I have a team of people who work remotely who scrape large data sets and import thousands of cards at a time.
mm,
So if a customer ever sends us something that's not in there, we'll just input it manually to make sure the set and all the information. But it takes a little bit longer.
mm,
After that, the next step is to scan your cards. So front and back of the card gets scanned. Then we upload it to the AI, and
mm,
then an annotator reviews the annotations, so the grade of the AI. And then after that, they go to the labels. After
mm,
labels, it goes to the slabbing process. So
mm,
we have like some air blowers and air tanks where you blow the slab out for dust and wipe it down. After that, it goes to welding, and then we call it Bob scanning because it's a Xerox machine,
mm.
but we put little googly eyes on the Xerox machine and a little mustache, and his name is Bob. So we Bob scan. That's what we call it. We Bob scan all of the slabs. So like if you take, I have right over here. Like if you take this card right here and
Yeah.
you scan the QR code on the back of it, when it takes you to the card page, you
Mhm,
won't see an image of this card. That's not what you're going to see on your card page. You're going to see your actual slab. It'll be
mm,
digitized for you.
got it.
Um, then after the cards get Xerox scanned, they get put in these bags for protection while shipping. Um, and then after that, they get shipped out. So a lot of other companies don't do that Xerox scanning. They don't do that bagging step. We also have custom AGS boxes, which I wish I had on hand to show you right now.
Okay.
But depending on the size of your order, it gets a custom AGS box. We have them for 1 through 5, 10, 20, and 50. And that comes with every order, and there's no upcharge for that product. It makes it really good for like unboxing videos, to
Yeah.
store your collection on shelving, to travel with your collection. It can also work as a deck box.
Mm.
Um, and those are all the steps. I need multiple people at all of those stations daily. Oh, well, yeah, I said welding. Welding's a step.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
I I counted, I think that was 9. Thank you so much for such a comprehensive answer. I was like, I wonder if he's gonna, answer it, or
No,
like
no,
if
no,
there's
there's
something he
no,
can't answer, but that's awesome.
no. I told you I'm here for it.
All right.
But
Have you ever seen Robot Battle Wars, where
are,
they like control these machines? Do you think Bob could take the championship?
Bob is a pacifist.
Oh, he's
But, it's funny. One of the our chief robotics officer, the guy who made the machines in the AI program, he used to run a company called RoboDuels, which is he had like robots that you could battle from your home. You'd get online and you go to roboduels.com. It might still be active. You can select a robot and you can battle with the robots he built in like this like empty living room. He turned into like a robo battle arena. So it's just funny that you mentioned like robots fighting because we have like a background with that.
I I have a separate browser open and I just put in
RoboDuels.
roboduels.com and it's nothing's coming up. It's the wheel is spinning. So I'm not going to wait for this. I'm not going
Yeah.
to, have this podcast be delayed by my
I don't
internet.
know if it's active anymore. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's still active, but it was something they used to do years ago. So we talk about robots fighting like a lot here, and
Oh,
like
you
the
know
experience.
what? Instead of putting roboduels.com, I just Googled for roboduels,
Hmm.
and it looks like there are some 3D online games. And, again, I don't know if this is like your friends or your coworkers thing, but yeah, I mean, they have an Instagram, roboduels. Interesting.
Yeah, I haven't checked it out in a while, like personally,
Oh my gosh.
but it's the we used to talk about a lot over here.
That's hilarious. Okay, so let's go. Let's get back on track. I apologize. I love to just meander and
No, not a
just
problem.
conversational threading. I get down these deep rabbit holes, but that's life. So let's see. You mentioned 3 million cards currently in database. Like, sounds like a crazy high number. I mean, do you guys even know? Like, I'm trying to wonder if it's like the universe where we don't even know how, like, getting to the edge of the universe. Like, what is the number? Like, do you guys have a general idea of like how many cards, trading cards there are in the entire universe of cards?
I'm I have no idea. I know it's got to be so much more because we feel we feel like we're so far away from
Mm.
getting our database where it needs to be because it's like every like modern sports card, like it feels like they come in like 13 variations, you know.
Yes.
And
Yes.
each one of those counts towards a card in the system. Like it's orange, it's
Ah,
purple, it's cracked
yes.
ice. Um,
Yes.
so it feels like it's never ending. If we hit like 50 million cards, I'm sure we'll feel more comfortable,
Uh-huh.
like but like 50 million's where we gotta like be at.
Got it.
When it comes to with Pokemon and other TCGs, it's a lot easier. You get like you have your regular card, a hollow, a reverse hollow,
Right.
maybe an alt art,
I
but like,
Can
go
I
ahead.
can I s sorry to interrupt, but I did wanna say, I just found out yesterday that apparently Pokemon might start doing serial numbered or parallel numbered cards.
Oh boy.
So, kinda like the one of one, the One Ring for Magic the Gathering that
Yeah,
got
yeah.
so much press. I can't even imagine if it's true, right? I mean, I just saw it come across my, feed or I heard about it, and then I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is gonna turn into such a huge chase for the one of one Pikachu," and
Oh
things
my
like
goodness,
that.
yeah. And the thing is like if even if they like why I think it was so effective with Magic is like they so rarely do something like that.
Mhm, mhm.
Whereas like with sports cards, I mean there's like I feel like there's like 39 one of one cards for the same
Totally.
player, you
Oh,
know.
yeah.
So it's like we like how did that affect the value, the marketing on it? So if you're to serialize like a Charizard, a Pikachu,
Yeah.
um, that would
Oh, yeah,
be
Charizard, right.
it would make people go insane.
Yeah,
Like,
Charizard, the Michael Jordan Pokemon, I forgot. Yeah, I should have not used Pikachu as the example. Pikachu may be like the mascot. He may be like the Jerry West, kind of like the logo man for
yeah,
NBA, but then Charizard is like the Michael Jordan. So, I gotta say though, I mean, I could be totally wrong with this number, but I recall hearing from somewhere that I don't know if you know Trevor Lawrence, he's the quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He was such a hot rookie, and again, I could be totally wrong, but apparently there's like something crazy. I almost hesitate to even say the number, but like 500 one of ones out there just for that one quarterback.
oh,
Not
I
all of them have like, yeah,
totally
it's
believe it. Totally believe
wild.
it.
It's wild.
Everybody's
So
got a 101.
yeah, yeah. Everyone's got a one of one. We're all one of ones, Aaron. We're
Mhm.
all special stars in the universe. Every single one of us, no matter how many grains of sand. You've heard of that example or story, or I don't even know that fact.
With
Apparently,
more stars than there are grains of sand,
yes,
or more.
more stars
Yeah,
in the universe than grains of sand in the entire world. All the beaches combined.
yeah. You start thinking about how small we are. You can get too deep into that rabbit hole,
Oh yeah,
for
I will
sure.
not. I will get us back on track because yes, I we can talk about that and just too much. We can turn into an astrology and a
Yeah,
life
The
podcast.
Cosmos podcast.
Yes, but it's really funny. We're still scraping the universe for information and data, and you were talking about scraping these large data sets. So, I think when you and I talked briefly earlier, you were kind of saying how this artificial intelligence that you have, this model, the algorithm, whatever it is, it's still learning, and every
Mhm.
time you have more data points it continues to get more robust and stronger. Is that right?
Yeah, it does. It's not as like dramatic as I may make it sound. Like every like 2 months you'll see like a 0.202% increase in overall accuracy. Because it's not bad. Like it's good where it's at right now.
Mm,
But like every time we update it, it's like, oh, this went from like 87.97% to 87.99%. Like there
mhm,
are incremental increases.
mm,
Um, excuse me.
mhm,
And basically just like the more cards we're able to scan, the faster that data grows. So like our
mm.
sports model was awful our first year,
Got
right?
it.
Like it required so much extra attention and work. Like we'd have to run the card like 4 times in the program
Mm,
in order to get it right. And then we have a much better created model now.
mhm,
So it's so much faster. Like I can't even express to you the difference it made in
mhm.
our lives.
Okay.
But in order to do that, we have to scan more cards.
Mm,
So the more cards we're able to get in uh, of a specific type of game, the faster we're able to make that model improve upon it. That's why like our TCG model is so great. Our TCG model is amazing, and it has like a 97% like accuracy rating. Centering I think is like our worst one, like out of the 4 subgrades.
uh-huh,
But we recently like I could talk to you about some of the changes we made to it
uh,
to make grading a little different. Um, but we use that we I was using the ideas like if we're able to scan like 1,000 cards a day, right, on each machine, that's only so much data we're able to get in. So if
yeah,
we're able to continue to grow and grow at scale,
yeah.
and build 10 of these machines, 100 of
Mm,
these machines, and have all of them scanning these cards because you see like Gemrate puts out reports of like what PSA is doing. They're doing like
yeah,
500,000 cards
yeah.
each month. If we had 1 month of like 500,000 cards, the amount of data we'd be able to use to improve our model would be so dramatic. And we'd have so much more information because like there are little things you may not think of. Like sometimes like a period mark like at the end of a sentence would get
Mm,
marked as like dirt as like a damage to the card, right? So you
I
have to
see.
go in there and teach it. Hey, no, this is incorrect. Like this is grammar. This is like
Ah,
you can't. When new hollow patterns come out, we have to spend time teaching it. Hey, this isn't damage, right? Because the
mm,
hollow could be imprinted into the card, right?
yes.
It could change the patterns on the card, and it could pick it up as damage. So we have to teach it. Hey, no, this is incorrect. This is correct, and we have to go. We do this a number of times, right?
Mhm,
And then what we do is we tell it like every order, we're like, hey, this is right, this is wrong, right? And then we run something called the mask, and it takes all of that information and it puts it like in a bubble, right? We take that bubble
mm,
and we upload it to the model, right?
yeah.
And then every month we update the model with all the new learned information. So every month we're improving the AI model.
Mhm,
Sometimes the leaps are large, sometimes they're very small,
mhm,
but it really depends on the amount of submissions we get in. So if the more submissions we're able to get in, faster our model will continue to grow and improve, which I think it's very, very good now. Like I think it's very good. I'm very proud and happy with what we do. The longer
mhm,
I'm in this space, the more I appreciate what we do and
mhm,
how we do it. Because I have seen the behind the scenes at some of these other companies. And I personally wasn't thrilled with everything I saw. I can't
mm,
speak on all of that,
mm,
but it makes me more proud of what we're doing here. It's not like there's no humans here. It's not like we're heartless people. It's not like some people think it's just like two dudes in a lab coat and a robot. Like I got dozens of people here. I got a 2-floor office. You
yeah,
know, we play cards back here. Um,
nice.
excuse me. So there is there's people here. We do care about what we're doing,
Mhm,
and we want to give you the info. Like I don't know if I'm able uh, to speak upon that. Like I don't know if I can talk to you about like like our grading standards, how we do that stuff. If you want to kind of go into it,
Yeah.
but when it's just to wrap again on data sets, the more cards we're able to scan, the more we're able to improve the model. And I would love for us to keep growing at scale to get new machines in and uh, make that growth more exponential. We just built our third machine, and
Mm-hmm.
right now scanning a card takes about 30 seconds, and on
Mm-hmm.
this new machine, scanning a card takes 10 seconds. Um, so we are going to start tripling our output. We're doing about 500 a day, some
Mm-hmm.
days 600. Um, and but to be able to triple our scanning output, will make one our operation faster, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our turnaround time faster, but it'll just allow us to get more data in, which is the most important thing for us.
You already kind of answered the question that I was going to have a follow up about what makes the sports card so different from TCG. You mentioned centering is one of the bigger of the
Uh,
four sub components.
yeah, so centering is very different on a lot of sports cards. We
Yeah.
do like an inner outer border method,
Inner
where
outer.
we compare the inner and outer borders. We'll look at the pixel counts
Huh.
between them. We'll look at the how parallel, how perpendicular they are.
Mm.
And it basically runs a complex like formula based on like the data in between them to create the centering. But with sports cards, it could be like the shift of the printing. Like there's no outer. Some of them don't have like inner borders, so you got to see where the
Yeah.
cards are printed on.
Mm-hmm.
Also, edge damage is
Mm-hmm.
calculated very differently. Um, Edge damage on a Pokemon card could be so much more severe than it can be on a sports card. When you
Okay.
have sports cards edge damage, that we calculate that much harsher than we would on like a TCG because
Interesting.
you guys have pointed corners
Yeah.
versus the
Yeah.
rounded corners. The
Yeah.
damage
Yeah.
is often much more pronounced. It's off the card,
Uh-huh.
and it visually looks so much worse. So we grade edge damage. I would say the biggest difference is we grade edge damage much and corner damage much harsher on sports cards than we do
Mm-hmm.
on TCG, and it's the nature of the printing quality. Also, another thing is with sports cards, print lines are a lot more common.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't deduct as harshly for print lines as we do for TCG. So like with a Pokemon card, a print line, we're losing points off the surface grade. We could even potentially lose points off the overall grade. Whereas like sports cards, we won't do that unless they exceed a certain threshold.
You just hit I mean, you just knocked out the next four questions about surface, centering, edges, corners. You just did it in such an awesome, great way, comparing and contrasting the sports cards and Pokemon cards. So thank you for doing that. I mean, you made my job so much easier here.
No, no problem. I
Um,
have a ton more information here, like whatever you want to know.
well, we're almost at the 40-minute mark. I did say I would try to get it close to 45 minutes, but I mean, I hope we can go a little bit longer. I want to definitely keep it under an hour for both you and I.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, can we just talk about the quality of the printing? The pre, not pre. It's not aftermarket. There's aftermarket damage and there's production quality. But Japanese cards that are created outside of the U.S. and for TCG, just these seem like they're able to a competitor of yours being Beckett. The reason I bring them up is they have the pristine and the black label. Like it seems like those are so much more easier to do than it is for sports cards and I have in my house Pokemon and sports cards, and we our gem rate. My kids are submitting their Pokemon cards, and they're gemming so much easier than my '90s sports cards and even my ultra modern sports cards.
Yeah.
And so. Would you say? I mean, like, not to we're not trying to get into bad mouthing like these printing companies, but like, do see a noticeable difference within the gem rates the gem mint, yeah, gem rates of Pokemon TCG versus sports cards.
Yeah, I do see that, and I partially what I believe is like you also have to consider the value of the cards.
Hmm.
Because once you start throwing gem like perfect tens on these older sport cards, we're talking like much more money, much more insurance that has to be
Right.
paid out to the companies, much more
Right.
insurance has to be paid out by the customer.
Uh-huh.
Printing quality is definitely a huge factor. I've had cards come to me from Thailand, Taiwan, Japan, and the quality is very, very nice.
Yeah.
Very, very nice, like 90% of the time. We get stuff printed here. You get a lot of off centering. You get a lot of, I mean, I've had damaged edges, damaged
Yeah.
corners. I've had pinholes. When we talk pack fresh, I've had
Yeah.
pinholes in cards. And I just think, I think one of the biggest differences, like maybe this is wrong, but for us at AGS, I think one of the biggest difference is corners,
Yeah.
pointed corners versus rounded corners,
Right.
and the way the damage appears and how that looks visually to a collector, and what that looks like when it's in your slab.
Mm,
Because you're like, oh, I think I have something great here. Somebody else is going to pick that edge apart, that corner apart. Um, excuse me. Um, and I think that's why sports cards tend to not grade as well or have a harder time getting these perfect tens. I think there you have to take really good care of them. We get
interesting. Yeah.
Pokemon. I've gotten Pokemon cards delivered to me in in like um like construction paper, wrapped up in construction paper, and still grade a 10. And I've had sports cards delivered to me like in magnet cases, and get like a 9.5 because it's got these corner dings, it's got these edge damages.
Yeah.
So also you have to we also have to consider the population of the card.
Yeah.
So how many of these cards are being submitted, and what are those other cards getting? Or is it commonly getting a 10?
Right.
What kind of printing issues are we seeing with them? So I think with modern stuff, it's easier to get those grades, whereas these companies might not have the same population of data to go off
Hmm.
of on your 90s basketball cards. You know?
Yeah, I shouldn't have said the '90s basketball. I mean, that is what I collect, and I like to grade when I can, with the understanding that it's they're not going to gem very easily. But yeah, I really should have compared the apples to apples, talking about ultra modern, any sport, but ultra modern, pack fresh. These cards are coming out off centered and like damaged edges and corners, and I mean, that's already like it's already a gamble opening sealed
Mhm.
wax, but to add on another risk factor of, oh, your cards might not be gem mint right out of the pack is that's pretty tough. So, I hope to see some improvements in that going from, I mean, I'll just say the names going from Panini to Fanatics, but in the sports world, I know Pokemon, it's the same ownership group, but apparently that they're still using the same, I forget the name of the company, GP or something like that, but they're using the same printing companies, so hopefully there's just more auditing or more quality assurance because wax is already so expensive
Mhm.
to rip. So um no, but it's really funny. You mentioned the cards coming to you in a specific way. I had a grader on Sophia from CGC, and she had these funny stories about the way people pack their cards and submit them, and it is so much better when it's a neater submission. I imagine.
Oh, yeah, dude, I had one guy send I don't know if they were doing it as a joke or not, but I had one guy send me his cards wrapped in 3 paper plates. We kept the paper plates, they're taped on our wall, just so we never forget, but, they weren't even clean plates. I was like, what is this
Oh,
person doing? Like, just go to the post office and get, a little cardboard box. It's not too expensive. Uh
wow.
I love when people organize their cards the proper way, and when they put the little tape and you can take it out of the top loader.
Oh yeah, you like the little tabs. I have one right here, but like you like when the submissions have the little tape, the color tape at the top.
Oh, it's just so much easier to take out. Because the
Uh-huh.
only time really the cards are outside, we have to take them out when we're submitting them.
Hmm.
Um, Especially with Pokemon cards, because sometimes people will put things on top of it. Love that. Love that.
Yeah,
Just makes it
yeah.
easy to peel right
Yep.
out.
Yep.
It minimizes the risk of damage, because you can damage it when
Yep.
putting it in and out of these things.
Yeah.
So when you minimize damage that way, it's amazing. But also, if they keep the cards, this is Kobe. We have a
Yeah.
Kobe. I'll send you a photo when we're done with the podcast. We have a Kobe mural
Gotta show me.
in our front
Absolutely.
lobby. I think you'll love it actually.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. I gotta come
but yeah,
visit. I mean,
oh
it's
yeah,
Staten Island. It's only 5 hours away. So
yeah, it's a cool spot. And there's if you ever come by, we'll take you out to eat. Okay.
oh man, Korean barbecue, please.
Yes, yes, I love Korean barbecue.
Awesome.
We have some
But
great
no,
spots.
yes. So you like the tabs. When people squish them in, I've talked about this with other people in the Meet the Grader series. Do you see more edge damage at the top because people are pushing their cards up from the top into a top loader or a card saver, or Like, where
We
do
see
you
it at the
when you
bottom. Like, I see it at the
bottom?
bottom,
Okay,
like,
tell
people
me
are putting
more.
in, like, the bottom corners when they're putting it in,
Yeah.
because sometimes they come in, they'll put it in, like, at an angle, and, like, like, the card will be diagonal, and they'll slide it in,
Oh,
so I see a lot of edge damage come that way. I see, like, surface damage come from it too, surprisingly.
okay,
They'll
okay.
maybe pinch it too hard with, like, their fingernails.
Pinch it, yeah.
So just, like, open it up, put it in, put the little tab on it, and put it in a top loader or a card saver. Your card
It's
will be safe,
it
handle it
seems
that way.
so simple, and yet some people, I mean, again, we can't, like, dummy proof the entire submission, but, the onus is really on us to do it the right way, the consumer. Like, we're in charge of the entire soup to nuts. I mean, I know the grading companies have their, huge role in it with grading and accuracy and transparency and shipping times, but, we pay for the insurance, we pay for the shipping, we have to do it right, and, like, there's so many errors that can happen along the way. It's amazing that we all grade so much, that we already do, because it is fraught with mistakes if you aren't careful. I will admit that I've you know, I try much better to, like, roll the penny sleeve in between my fingers to kind of create a little bit more space. But when I came back to the hobby, I was like doing it the way I did as a kid, where I was just like nicking the corners of my cards, putting them into penny sleeves, and I'm like, "What am I doing? This is, like, terrible." So, you just learn from that. But um, I gotta ask you, when you put a card into a penny sleeve and top loader, because I've asked this to the others, which corner goes down first?
Bottom right.
Bottom right. You're right-handed.
Yeah.
Okay. I think left-handed people might do it left, bottom left, but
Yeah, it's just
um,
natural the way it goes.
all right, TCG, let me ask you, do you double penny sleeve your cards? Like, I heard people go upside down, like they go top right into the penny sleeve, then they do like the normal bottom half of the card into a penny sleeve. So they're almost like two penny sleeves. Is that that's a thing in TCG?
Yeah, yeah, top and bottom. That way there's no dust can get in either way. Uh
Wild.
so people do, and then you put that in a binder, or you put that in a card saver.
And a
Uh
binder?
oh,
You can't, how do you
I've
fit
had
that
people
in?
I've had people with like 5 layers of protection on like their dark magician card, like it happens. Me, penny sleeve, top loader, or like in a binder, and I think you'll be good from there.
5 layers. That's like these razors we have nowadays, like 5 razor blades in one razor. It's like, what happened to just having 1 or 2? Like, why do
Mhm.
we need 5?
No, people do really take it seriously, and when we see someone who packages it really seriously, we put a little note to send them back their supplies after, because
Send
they're
them
like, this person
supplies.
cares. They're like,
Yes. That's very nice of you. I don't think I can't imagine. I mean, I know the big 3 or 4 don't do that because 'cause I've submitted to them, but, like, that's just
yeah, all you have to do is request it. You have to request
ah,
it,
mhm.
but if I see something, like if you send me like magnet cases, like I'm sending them back to
Oh.
you. Like
Oh,
I'm
that's so
not,
nice. Yeah, the
you
one
know.
touches. Yeah. No, that's very nice of you guys. So, going back to these machines, you have a name for the Bob scan. Do you guys have machine names for the machines that do the actual scanning, or is that, like, secret sauce stuff?
What you call it? They're just they should have like people names. They don't. They're just
Okay.
like the AG1, the
Okay.
AG
2.
1.5, and the
Okay.
AG 1.5T. That's what they're like. We call them scanner one, two, and three. You
Okay.
know, but
Gotcha.
I think we have to give them names now. I think
I don't know, and I mean, definitely don't have them battle because 'cause they're pacifists, but so you guys are looking to scale up. I mean, again, you're talking about goals and visions, getting
yeah.
more cards into the
We're looking to
database,
open
more
a
cards.
store in Miami,
Ooh,
Miami,
wow.
Florida. We want to have a card lounge in there as well.
Whoa.
That's something we're definitely looking towards. If you check out our Instagram, I think the owner speaks about it on one of our
Okay.
videos. But yeah, definitely looking to expand. Um, we want to we want to do our best to keep growing. Like I really like what we
Yeah.
do. I'm really proud of it. So we just want to keep it up the best we can. Hopefully next year we can do more shows. Find a way to
Mhm.
make them more affordable. Get people, what I find is people really enjoy the product. They really like the customer service they get
Yeah.
when they
Yeah.
get involved and when they learn about what the process is. Uh, but it's about getting them into the doorway. I just need to get more people into the doorway. Would love to continue having more people try AGS out. Like I
Mhm.
mean, we did it. We did 1 month where we offered everyone. I mean, I think the promo code is active. If it's your first time ordering with us, you get 1 card for free. You can do a
Mhm.
1 card for free submission because we just believe in the product. We believe that once you get your card back, that like you'll want to continue submitting with us. you know?
Gotcha. So before I let you go, I have two topics or questions I really would love to tackle. One has to do with the competitive advantage that you see AGS has over other grading companies or maybe even similarly situated grading companies, which,
Mhm.
if you want to say the names, you can. I'm not here to like denigrate or disrespect any other grading companies. It's just more about giving you shine with your current, with your grading company because you work there and you love it so much. The second has to just do with resale value because it does seem like there's such a resale value king in the grading space, and that dominates the market share because, well, for many reasons, but people want to maximize the value of their cards, whether it is to flip, invest, or even just collect and keep. But so, can I ask you just that first question when it comes to competitive advantage? What do you see that AGS offers that others, specifically like similarly situated grading companies, maybe don't offer, or that you do better?
Now, when you say similarly situated, are you referring to companies like Tag or HGA, things that are who are trying to be in the more tech related field?
Yeah, artificial intelligence grading. Yeah.
So,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
what's different about us, as compared to them is, like, what they do is, like, really, really high-end photographs, lots of angles, really great exposure. I'm not saying that's bad at all.
Mm,
That's not what we do. What we have is a laser scanning machine that creates a 3D model of your card. So your
mm,
card goes into the platform, the laser sits above it, and as it goes through the platform, the scan comes down, right? The scan is set to scan at a certain height, and what that does is it creates a 3D model of the front of your card, and then it creates a 3D model of the back of your card.
mm,
This lets us zoom in to get the depth of the card. So we're able to see ink spots added on. We're able to see the depth of the scratches, how deep pinholes are. We're able to see basically like under the front of your card in a way that no photograph can ever hope to duplicate. And we're able to see that image at 100 different settings.
mm,
So I don't care how nice your camera is, it's not a 3D rendering model of your card. It's not. It's different. What we're doing is different, and we have this technology patent pending, so nobody else can do this kind of stuff.
mm,
And the speed at which it goes is only continuing getting faster. I told you our newest machine's at 10 seconds per card.
mhm,
Um, so you're able to extract so much data out of this. And it allows us to like see dirt, water damage, stains, print lines. We
mhm,
look for oil, scratches,
mhm,
fingerprints. We wipe
mhm.
down your cards with a microfiber cloth. Like we'll wipe it
Okay.
down with a microfiber cloth before it goes in for fingerprints.
Yeah.
Uh, we'll look for like edge peeling, ink, dents, um, whitening. Sometimes there's glue on people's cards, tape on
Mhm,
people's cards,
mhm,
creases. And like card alterations, like we look for like ink, maybe trim centering, and what we're able to tell is like here's your card surface, and then if you added ink, it will be a higher layer on top of the card, and we're able to see that through these laser scans, uh, and I think that's really unique, and it's really comprehensive. And then when you get your cards back, you scan the QR code, you're able to see 8 scans of your card where we highlight specific damage. So you're able to see a centering scan, surface, corners, and edge scan. And those areas will be highlighted for the front and back of your card, and they're
mhm,
color coded. Pink is minor damage and blue is major damage.
mhm.
So you get like this full report as to why your card got the grade it did, with 12 subgrades in total, 4 front, 4 back,
Yeah.
and then the overall. The front is weighted at 60%, the back is weighted at 40%.
Okay.
Um, and I just think the amount of information you get, um, for the service you're paying for, we are the
Mm,
cheapest grading service by default pricing. It's
mm,
$14 a card.
okay.
It is the cheapest, like I don't want to say cheapest, that's not the right way to say it, but we wanted to make the most cost-effective
Yeah.
entry point,
There you go.
to offer the best return on investment for
Mhm,
people who are looking to sell, or build if you're looking to build your personal collection, you're not breaking the bank selling, and if you're looking for return on investment, at this entry point of $14 a card, you have much greater return on those odds. You know, so yeah, really love the kind of breakdown we get. So you always know why and how you got your grade. There's never a question. If you disagree with it, you can hit us up. We can take a look at it. We love to do that. We have
mhm.
people resend us the same cards all the time. And once we have your scan, it's a fingerprint, and I can compare
Mm.
it. Like if you give me a Charizard, base set Charizard, I can compare that Charizard to every other Charizard we've ever got in. Um,
theoretically, if you submit the same exact card, there could be damage with getting it, like, you might not get the same exact card in the same exact condition, but let's say you have, like, the same exact card from the same customer and it really is the same. Theoretically, it should get the same exact grade
It should look
because of
exactly it should have the same annotations, the same
yeah.
subgrades, yeah. If something happened and the conditions is altered a little bit, or the card
Mhm.
is warped or held in, like, a certain type of, like, if the card map is different, like,
Yeah,
if anything happened to the card in between being out of the office and back to the customer, then the
yeah,
grade will be different, but if everything was kept, like, in pristine condition, if they send it back to us in the slab, the annotation should be the same, the card map should be the
right.
same, and that's a huge plus with us.
So, do you all get, crossover submissions, or are these
Every day.
cards always slabbed?
Every day, every day.
Okay.
We get a lot of PSA, SGC, we get DSG, we get degree grading. We do get some SGC. I do think they're a very good company, personally.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Um, we get some HGA.
Mhm.
The most we get is PSA and CGC crossover grading. So people will
Mm,
send us in, we crack the slabs open. People request that we make videos on them. You can see our Instagram reels. A lot of the videos that we make about crossover grading is like people
mhm.
send a little note like, "Hey, could you please make a video on this card?" And
Hmm.
we'll film us cracking it open, scanning it. We'll show the grade it got at CGC, and then we'll show why it got the grade it got here, which I think is pretty unique
I
as
have
well.
a base Michael Jordan, like, Fleer Ultra card that I've submitted to submitted personally to 2, and it came in a ISA grading. So it went through ISA, PSA, and BGS. Maybe I submit to AGS and, I mean, they're all, like, in the 9s and 10s. It's not like a dinged bad card, but I'd be interested to see how, it's almost like a card that I'm using as a float it around and see what happens with other grading companies, but I might
Yeah, it
do
makes
that.
sense. It totally makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's also like fantastic content. Like,
Yes. I
big
mean
big brain play there.
I just like learning about the space, really. I have, like, no vested interest in any of the, like, even this, right? I mean, like, when we talked about getting this set up, like, at no point did I ever talk about, hey, I would like this kickback or pay for
Mhm.
play, right? I mean, like, I hope people understand, like, there's no, like, ulterior motive with this other than to learn more about the grading space. So having said that, I know we're coming up on an hour. I did want to ask, if we can possibly do this in the next, like, 3, 4 minutes, like,
The resale.
resale value. Yeah,
Okay,
like, I
I'll try
mean,
to be as
talk.
quickly as I can with
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So we hire like multiple contractors to do streaming for us on
Mm,
like different platforms, on Whatnot, on Drip. I think we're trying to explore TikTok as well,
mm,
and they'll sell slabs there. They'll sell slabs on eBay. We have an eBay store. People sell on eBay. People sell in person. I've had multiple TCG cards sell for record pricing, especially when it comes to Pokemon, MetaZoo, and some of these Kickstarters. We just got there's a new TCG called Rise, and we just got their Kickstarter set, their Tier 1 Kickstarter set, and each of those cards are like worth $10,000. And they graded the complete set with us. It was pretty amazing. And so when it comes to the TCG market, as long as you're
mm,
like if your grades are good, like if you get like anything at 8 or above, I think you're selling at pretty comparable value. There are issues. Sometimes people won't respect the label. We
yeah.
do have a 9.5 and 10 gold label. So AGS gold 9.5 or 10. That increased, like once we made that change, the value of those slabs shot through the roof, right? The second we made them gold labels. We are working on a legendary label right now, which
Mm,
requires 8 perfect subgrades. So 4 in the front, all
mm,
tens, 4 in the back, all tens. Excuse me. Um,
mhm,
so when it comes to TCG, I've seen us sell at record prices many, many times.
mhm,
Um, I've seen us sell much lower than market value. It's hit or miss depending on the card, depending on the grade. And for sports cards, I really think if we hit that when we hit that 5 year mark, right? When it comes to sports cards, that people in that space will start to take us a lot more seriously. I've had multiple sports cards sell for like 10, 15K. Sorry.
yeah.
And that's really cool to see, but not everyone is buying them. A lot of them are sitting there. We see the
Mhm,
transactions waiting or people not getting the value of what they want. So I think it is a little bit on the job of the collector, of the consumer, to know the value of what they are holding on to and to hold true to that value and sell it for what it's worth. But I think the longer we stay around, the more legitimize we get to people, that the value will continue to shoot up. I think once we create the legendary label, which would be the hardest 10, perfect 10 to get, the value of those will shoot up the same way the gold labels did. Sorry, I just need some water. One moment.
Yeah, yeah. Take a moment. I did want to ask you while you're doing that. Do you? I mean, do you even want to get into? This will take us a little bit past the hour mark, which is fine with me if it's okay with you. But like,
Mhm.
are we like? Would you care to venture a guess or a theory as to why we have this one dominating resale value king versus even like the other really big, grading companies? Like,
I mean, it's just like people just like we talk about like PSA, like people grade with PSA not because they have the best grading standards, not because their grades are better or worse than anyone's else. People grade with PSA because resale value. People respect the label, so it's just the brand recognition, the name recognition, the long term legitimacy of how long they've been in business. That's why I say really for sports collectors, we really think year 5 will be a really big turning point for us when it comes to
hmm
sports.
hmm
um, we're trying to step more into that market and meet people um, where they're at,
yeah,
um, in order to increase the value. But I just think it's a lot of name recognition. It's very easy to put online and sell. Whereas you don't have to find your audience. Your audience is everybody when you're PSA.
right.
Your audience is everyone in the hobby. But I would say if they were doing their jobs properly to full effect and they had a perfect customer satisfaction rating, companies like mine or ours wouldn't exist. But
Mm.
we exist. We're
hmm
employed, we're employing people, you know, and we're growing. So there is like that is getting shaken up a little bit. Companies have to do things to stand out. Something I like that the Degree does is they have like a zero grade. HGA has really nice custom labels, horizontal slabs. We have our
hmm
gold labels. We're going to be working on the legendary label soon. So you have to do something that creates that value
Yeah,
for the consumer on the resale market.
yeah.
So um, the gold labels and the legendary labels will be that for us.
Aaron, this was fantastic. You said you've never been on a podcast, and you just gave me and the listeners just an awesome hour of I can't believe how open and like there was not a single question you wouldn't answer, and I really appreciate that. I mean, I
Oh,
hope
no
people
problem.
really enjoyed this hour. I can't wait for it to be published and for people to kind of hear more about AGS and what y'all are doing. And my submission, I think, will have to be an in-person. Again, like if you guys aren't coming to shows, you guys are already. I mean, you guys are only like 5 hours away from me. I would love to meet you in person. I would love to see the store. Check
Yeah,
out the baseball
absolutely.
field near you. The Miami one is going to be. I mean, I grew up in Fort Lauderdale too, but best of luck with the opening of that store. We could expect that sometime in 2024.
That's completely up to the owners. I'm not
Okay.
entirely sure. I'll see you in Florida when it happens, though.
Gotcha, gotcha. So I wish you the best of luck with everything. Thank you again for such a great, interview chat. And let's be in touch. I'm gonna end recording here, but I want to keep you a little bit just to thank you again.
Not a problem. It was a great time.
All right, thank you.